Today, we're looking at the 2021 Indian drama film, The White Tiger. Warning: this video contains spoilers. The story begins in Delhi, 2007. Balram is in the back seat of a car, having fun with Pinky and Ashok, who are drinking, blasting music, and driving recklessly. A person suddenly crosses the road, and Balram yells in warning. Then the story pauses. Balram starts narrating, explaining that this is not how a story should begin. He says that to survive in India as an entrepreneur, a man has to be both sincere and sly. We then jump to Bangalore, 2010, where Balram is now a successful businessman and also wanted by the police. He writes an email to the Chinese Prime Minister saying he was once a servant and is now an entrepreneur. He decides to tell his life story. The movie flashes back to his childhood. Balram grows up poor, living in a crowded house with his family. His teacher once told him he was a white tiger, a rare person born only once in a generation. Balram dreams of getting a scholarship, but life doesn't go as planned. In his village, a rich landlord called the Stork controls everything. His son, known as the Mongoose, goes around collecting money from the villagers. When Balram's father dies from tuberculosis, Balram and his brother Kishan are forced to quit school and start working at a tea shop to pay off family debts. Balram compares the life of Indian servants to roosters trapped in a coop. They know their fate, but do nothing to escape. Still, he waits for a chance to change his destiny. When he learns that the stork's younger son, Ashok, has returned from America and needs a driver, Balram sees his opportunity. His grandmother refuses to let him go, but changes her mind after he promises to send money. Balram learns how to drive and talks his way into the Stork family estate. He gets hired as the second driver. He also meets Pinky, Ashok's wife, who has a modern mindset and doesn't follow traditional rules. Later, Balram finds out that the first driver is secretly Muslim, and he blackmails him into quitting so he can take the first driver position. The family moves to Delhi to settle a tax issue involving a powerful politician known as the Great Socialist. Balram lives in the servant quarters beneath a hotel. Ashok is kind to him, while the mongoose is cruel and often violent. Balram begins to bond with Ashok and Pinky, especially since they treat him more humanely than the others. But things get complicated when, on Pinky's birthday, she gets drunk and decides to drive. This leads back to the opening scene. She hits a child crossing the road and panics. Ashok wants to call for help, but Balram insists they leave immediately before anyone sees them. The next day, the family forces Balram to sign a confession, taking full blame for the accident. Ashok hesitates, but doesn't fight for him. Feeling helpless, Balram signs. Later, Pinky tells Balram that his confession won't be needed, because no police report was filed. She becomes disgusted with Ashok's family and secretly leaves India, giving Balram some money before going. When Ashok finds out, he slaps Balram in frustration. Ashok starts drinking and becomes depressed. Balram takes care of him, thinking Ashok might change. But when the mongoose returns, Ashok immediately goes back to treating Balram like a servant. At that moment, Balram realizes Ashok will never see him as an equal. He quietly begins stealing extra money through fake invoices and side-driving jobs. His family writes to him, angry that he stopped sending money. His grandmother even threatens to tell his master everything. Balram slaps his nephew in anger when he arrives to remind him. Meanwhile, Ashok prepares to deliver a huge bribe. More money than Balram could make in years. On the drive, Balram thinks about stealing it but knows his family would be killed if he runs away. One day, After visiting a zoo and seeing a white tiger, Balram finally snaps. He realizes that freedom requires sacrifice. He breaks a bottle, hides the sharp piece, and drives Ashok at night. Pretending the car has a problem, he convinces Ashok to get out. As Ashok checks the tire, Balram kills him and takes the bag full of money. He screams in shock and then begins to laugh out of liberation. Balram takes his nephew and escapes to Bangalore, using the stolen money to start a business called White Tiger Drivers. He bribes the police to arrest other taxi drivers so his company can rise without competition. Now rich and respected, he treats his own drivers like employees, not servants. When one of them accidentally hits a child, he pays compensation, instead of making them sign a false confession like he was forced to. Balram ends the story saying that even if he is caught one day, it was worth it, because he finally broke free from the rooster coop and learned what it truly means to live. So, subscribe for more.